Hi everybody, Jo here again. How you doing? I hope you're doing okay and I hope this week has started well. Now, very special day today because my journal's actually full. But we're not going to have our run through yet because we need to decorate the front. We can't have a journal. I mean, these covers are beautiful, but we need to add something, don't we? So what I've done is I've decorated the back. I'm just going to turn it over. And I'm going to decorate the front in a similar vein, and I thought I'd show you how I did it. I have to say, this is just beautiful, so tactile, but it's quite flat, slightly raised, but quite flat, so it's great for the back. You don't really want to add any embellishments on the back. You want the back quite flat, but obviously on the front you want to go to town if you want. But I just think that is, for me, I just love that. Now obviously it's up to you how you decorate your journal. I'm just coming in to share you how I've done mine, and then look at all those fabulous pages. Next week, pop back and we'll have a run through all those fabulous pages. But today, I thought we'd just spend a little bit of time decorate the front. And I'm going to show you how I've done it. What I've done is I've cut a piece of black card, just slightly smaller. I want to work on black because I want to use my gilding flakes, and I think they show up better on black. So what I've done is cut my piece of black card, and I've cut a piece of either gold, copper. It depends whatever tones you're going for. I'm going to matte and layer mine. So I've just cut mine to size. And again, it depends. It's totally up to you as to how large a border you want. Now, my idea is I want to add a piece of my artwork as well. So if I just move this, what I've done is I've used some of this fabulous new Sizzix 3D adhesive paste that Tracy's been using. And thank you for bringing this to all our attention, Tracy. Fabulous stuff. I love it. But this one has taken 30 minutes to dry. So what I've done is I've prepared one already, but I'll just show you. So this is going to go on here. So I'm sort of showing you what I've done, and then I'll almost go back to the beginning. As you can see, this is still drying. But the reason we've got a circle out of here is I've got a piece of artwork. I did this on one of the, I love wreath cards, so I had to put one on the front. And this is just made on one of our circular card blanks. And my idea is I want to pop that in the circle, this lovely circular card in the centre. So what I did was I cut myself a piece of copy paper, the right size, stuck it on the card, and then added my paste. And I'll give you a little demo of adding the paste on another piece of card. But as I say, this one has been 30 minutes so far, and it's nearly dry, ready for my flakes. So, but that's why the piece I did on the back, I obviously covered the whole card, but this, my idea is I want this in the middle. So if I put that over there, so that's still drying, and I'll put my journal down here. So basically, if I show you, so this is the Sizzix paste, and I've just got another piece of black card. I was going to show you on one of our lovely tags, but I thought it shows up well on the black, so I've just got a random piece of black card. Sorry, excuse me. This little tickle, and this stencil's dynamic. Now, Eric's with me, and he's actually right under my chair today, so I'm going to, hopefully I'll keep in shot. If I wander off, I'm sorry, blame Mr. Eric. Now, when you open the paste, it has a little lid in, which is great because it stops it drying out, and it's got a little thing to lift the lid up. But I must admit, I have to get my nail under here. For some reason, I can't, it's not a big enough little lip for me. But there we go. And I use one of these. It's my palette knife I use for my grunge paste. And all I'm going to do is pop the stencil on, look. And for me, it's a little bit more watery than grunge paste, I found, but it's a lovely consistency. And again, for me, I just spread a little bit like spreading butter. Now, there may be, I'm not sure if Sizzix have some technical way of demonstrating this. I haven't actually watched, so I'm just doing my own little thing, and I'm going for spreading like butter. From what I can gather, the best thing is almost a nice thin layer. You don't need to overdo it. As I say, it's not a thick texture paste. Don't overwork it with anything through a stencil. It's best not to overwork. But for me, I just find that sort of consistency is right. I want to fill, let's just tiny bit in there, fill that space. I'm not going to go right to the edge. I almost want a random edge. But if you look, I've got no bits that it's obvious that I've missed, but no heavy bits. So the other thing I found is I need to lift that up quite soon. If you leave it too long with it being a glue, it almost starts to stick the stencil to your card. Lift that off. Now normally I would put that straight into warm soapy water, just sort of with like I've just used my washing up liquid. But I'm just going to put mine on some wet kitchen towel while I'm having our little catch up with you. Also the knife, I'm just going to get a piece of kitchen towel, spritz it and pop my palette knife in there, and again until I can go and wash that. So we'll pop the lid on here. So again, remember the nice little protective cap. For me, again, a little bit of housekeeping. Try not to have any glue around the sides because obviously it is a glue, it's a 3D adhesive. You don't want your lid to stick. So, and keep it flat. Again, I would recommend. So we'll pop that over there. Now again, for me, I'm not doing it directly on my lovely Lavinia mat just because I'm likely to get glue everywhere and flakes, and I'm just using a craft sheet over just to protect my mat. Now, as you can see, it's white when it goes on. If I bring in the one that I did, which is now 40 minutes ago, can you see it's dried clear? And it's nice to just see that difference. And as I say, this drying time for me is I've been timing it and it's 40 minutes. But once you can see that it's gone clear, that's perfect then. So I'm going to pop this one over here to dry. And we're going to add some flakes to this. Now I'm just going to give my hands a bit of a wipe because I've got some paste on them. And the other thing I would recommend is, for me, I'm going to use a lid here of a container. Just, it's easier, but also an anti-static bag. And what I've found is if I put my hands with the anti-static bag and put the anti-static bag in here, my flakes won't be, they tend not to stick as much. They're almost not as staticky. And those of you that have used the flakes before, you know all about flakes. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And for this one, I'm using our metallic gilding flakes, and this one's dual. I must admit, for the back, I used the one with the blue in, which is I think it's Glamour. We have 3. So we've got Flame, which is sort of the redder one, and then Glamour, which has the blue flakes in, and that's what I used for the back. So in interest of evenness, I didn't want to use one more than the other. So as I say, for me, I just pop them in make sure I haven't got any blowers or anything on. And then we're just going to add them. And again, look at these beautiful big flakes. And I'm just going to start. Now, if you want certain colours in certain areas, obviously you can do that. I'm just putting my flakes and dabbing them all the way around. And for me, I do think at first it is very much a dabbing motion, dabbing the flakes onto the glue. If you sort of rub too much, you almost roll the flakes. But you'll get into a routine. You'll have your own ideas and ways of doing this. So I'm just going to work my way around and just see if I can just sort of move and cover all the areas to start off with. As I say, just sort of dabbing the flakes. If I've got any areas, look, where I need some more. Like I say, if you wanted certain colours in certain areas, you could certainly do that. Need some more there. A little bit more there. And then once we've got to this stage, what I've found is I can sort of rub just gently start to rub my way around, and this will just move off any loose flakes. And I think I just knocked my lamp then, so I'm very sorry. And it's almost starting rubbing the areas where you haven't got any glue, and it's a nice gentle action, but also it'll transfer if you've missed putting the flake on any of the glue, it'll just move it across. But because hopefully it's dry, it's gone clear, you won't actually smudge the design. So what I'm going to do now is gently just almost brush off. And again, as I say, you will all have your own way of doing this. Now you can use the next little bit, once you've done with your finger like this, you can use, I know Tracy uses a Lavinia brush. I'm really funny. I'm a bit precious over my brushes. So I've just got a little sort of scouring out of my craft stash. I've had this for many years. But as I say, you can use a brush if you want. And I'm sorry, you've probably just seen my hand there. What I'm going to do is these flakes here. And again, I'm trying not to, can you imagine if I was to cough now? These are large flakes, so these are all going back in my pot so that I can use these again. And the good thing about the Lavinia flakes, they're so large when you start that you get more use out of them as they almost get smaller. But for me, once we get to tiny little bits, I don't re-put those in my jar. So what I do now is any that comes off now goes in the bin, because it'll be so tiny for me, it's not worth putting back in my jar. So I just have another go, so as I say, with your brush or with your scrubby little thing. And this just gets rid of any loose flake, but also it polishes the flake that's there. So what I'm going to do now is just take mine and give it a good rub with my Inky Binky to really polish these flakes and get rid of any loose bits, which have now just gone over Eric. So he is looking beautiful. He is all shiny. But look at that. I am so pleased. I just love that. And honestly, when you have a go, so if you're somebody, if your mojo's gone. Now, Diane, I know you've just bought a pot of this, but I do record these sort of a couple of weeks in advance, so hopefully you've had a play by the time you watch this. But if you haven't, I urge you do have a play, because look at that. Honestly, fabulous. So what I'm going to do is just mat and layer this now very quickly. And you know me, belt and braces. So we've got tape, and we're going to come in with our fabulous glue. And we all know what it's called, and we all know my struggle saying it. So it's our lovely BB glue, dries clear. And let's pop that on there. Now, don't worry that we've got an odd little bit there, because I'm going to add some gold splats. So nobody will ever know that that's a little bit. You see that bit there? I don't mind that. Right, so I'm going to add this to my journal. Now, what I need to be mindful of is that I get it the right way. So if I add it that way, is that space? Yeah. Right, so remind me, it's that way. So once again, belt and braces. I can't wait to look through my whole journal. But I have to say, for me, I wanted to leave covering it until the end, just because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and which piece of artwork to put on, whether I was going to, you know, put stamp of sentiment. So for me, I wanted to wait till the end, and I'm glad I did, because to be honest, we've only just got the 3D adhesive paste, so it was almost like it was meant to be. Now, did I say it was that way? I think I did, didn't I? So I'm going to pop that there. And what I'm going to do is I've got a gold Posca pen. And because I know I've got some odd little bits here, I'm just going to come in with my gold pen and add some Posca splats, just almost as part of the design. Now, if you wanted, remember your red liner tape is great with your flakes. You could have added a red liner tape down there. But for me, I'm just using the gold Posca just to make it look like, see, nobody'll ever know. You won't tell them, will you? And then this card design that I made, what I've actually done is I've sprayed it with spray varnish, just to give it a little bit of extra protection, because with it being on the front of my journal, obviously it might get handled quite a lot. Well, it will do just from me looking at it. So again, I'm coming in with my glue, and I'm putting it right up to the edges, and I'm hoping, if we got this on right, now deep breath everybody, hold your breath for me, I'm hoping that that will just fit in there. I think she says that, and then I just need to move it that way a little. Yeah, right, I'm happy with that now. That bit of wiggle time is so useful with the glue. And what I'm going to do is just get a little piece of kitchen towel. Don't want to put any finger marks on here. And I just think that looks beautiful. And then just to finally finish off, I'm going to come in with my metallic, I can't speak, Gilding Polish. Now this one is the Copper Shine, and I just think it'll go well with those coppery goldy tones. And if I just show you the back, can you see I've just added it round the edge? So we'll do that on the front as well. So again, open the lid, get your applicator out of the lid, give yourself a bit of a, look, a bit of a slope there. So a little bit on my applicator. And what I'm going to do, and again, bear with me, it's not easy to see because obviously this is the large journal, but I'm just going to go with the applicator. I'll show you as best I can, round the edge, look. And then on the side here, on the spine, I'm just going to catch this top bit here. And then what I'm going to do with my finger is just sort of blend it in, rub it in. Two things. One, this will help with it drying, but also I just think it looks nicer. So again, at the bottom here, and I'm just rubbing it in that bottom edge, and then up the side, and then along the top. Now the other thing I like to do is just open the page and just catch. So I'm doing this right in front of you. So you've got quite a close-up. As I say, do bear with me. But I'm just keeping that edge. I just want that nice on the edge. And then also I can open the page and just add a little bit off my finger, just on the inside. And again, it's up to you how much. If you want to add a little bit more, look, you can bring the applicator in. And as it happens, the colour goes well. I'm looking at that design on that page. The colour goes very well with it. So again, I'm just going to rub that in. It gets rid of if you've got any areas where you've got more than you wanted. It just helps. And if I bring that over here. So what I'm going to do is just give my fingers a little bit of a wipe. Now remember, when we put our metallic gilding polish to bed, we have our night-night routine. So always spritz your applicator once, pop it in the lid until it clicks, and then with the bottle, 2 spritz night-night, and then lid on. And that way, water-based, it won't dry out. But there is. Now, I can't wait for our extravaganza at the weekend because I'm going to take my journal, because honestly, just looking at it on here doesn't do it justice. I just love these. Honestly, seriously, it's so tactile, you find you just have to touch it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. And I hope when it comes to decorating your journal, you'll have fun. And I can't wait to see how you decorate yours. I'm still thinking I may put an embellishment in the middle. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to walk away, go and have my coffee, come back, and I may just add a metal embellishment. Again, I'm not sure. I shall see. So, join me tomorrow. We've got a lovely little catch-up tomorrow. And then next Monday, we're going to look through our journal page by page. Thank you for all your support and thanks for joining me. Honestly, you mean the world to me. You take care. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.